Waiting for this thing to work. Hey, this is Mia. It's early in the morning. It's actually 10. I couldn't sleep last night. Or was it this morning? I think it was both. Um, I couldn't sleep because I don't know why. I can't wear clothes really well either. Tight socks and bras. I don't know where my pajamas are. We're gonna clean a little bit today. Now that I'm using these fabric softeners and scented items, I can't tell what's clean and dirty. And I've also been, for the most part, showering every day because I don't know when I'm out and about when I will be um, with this fellow. So I'm gonna do something right now. I'm gonna chat for about something for a second, and I'm gonna do this. Hold on. Oh my God, there's a lot of these. I gotta refill these. Um, I just found 1, 2, 3, 3 that weren't paid from that season. Okay, I am freaking out, and I described this the other day as the when you see a YouTube video and you have the author, whatever you call it, vlogger putting the commercials in, you see the little yellow stripes in the timeline. And what I'm seeing in my mind is, excuse me, these are like, I'm like, oh my God, why am I freaking out? Oh my God, my buddy didn't respond to my text yesterday. That was 24 hours ago. And my kid knocked on my door at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I was up. Yeah, I was finishing watching a movie. She heard the TV. She didn't try to walk to school. I'm usually up, which I should tell her. Like, God, I went down and put some dishes away. What am I doing this for? Well, what are you doing? What are you doing this for? Because you got to clean your freaking house. And you want to invite this fella over instead of having it one-sided that I just go to his place. You want your daughter to be able to have her friends come to the door and sit down while she finishes grabbing her stuff and not trip over stuff. Even if the animals are there and the furniture's there, clean the walkways and the seating areas. The other thing is being mad that my daughter was coming back downstairs like, yeah, my morning routine. You know, put dishes away, can't do that. Tried to clean up the kitchen yesterday, couldn't do that. But she was here. You know, my friend's, both her daughters died, and her granddaughter. Okay, she has no more women in her family but her great grandbaby's mama. That's about it. And her other grandson's girlfriend, and they're really mean to her. And I personally feel like I cannot hang out with this lady while she's with these abusive people. And I shared about abusive, that I don't know if I shared that this lady I called to help me with my steps was being a jerk and trying to blame me. And she totally flaked out on me multiple times in the beginning. And I already had another lady flake out on me. And I was like, crap. I don't even know if I sent the text to the right person. I'm like, I hope I didn't send the nasty text to somebody else. I said, I hope somebody else had good luck with the sponsor and all this stuff. And I have to call my client, and I have to call this other dealers. So basically, here's my planner. I have all these receipts. This is how you saw my floor, like super filthy. I had all this crap, all this stuff. I'm not gonna pay money to do the listing, and they have it wrong in the phone book. That's okay. It's the right billing. I felt like, all right, you've done this before. Sometimes the kids getting you up and out. If you truly believe, and I don't even really say it, so God, I ask you when I wake up in the morning, even during the night, but I wake up in the morning, I follow your will, your path, and that you open the right doors and close the wrong ones. Thank you, Jesus. And so that God tells me the other day that I had yesterday, I think that everything is going great in my life, and it's gonna go until I die. I could have died yesterday. I could die right now. I was in the grocery store. I was like, we could have an earthquake, and this whole thing could come down on our heads and kill us all. And that's the truth. Did I check my mail yesterday? Yeah, because I didn't open it. I just threw it somewhere. And I am also feverish, and God is reminding me, dude, you're a raw foodist. You're detoxing. You're doing every time you change something from having a friend, a buddy, a boyfriend, or whatever, someone to hug, someone to chat with, someone to philosophize with. Um, some of these things are changing the mental and detoxing out the old and bringing in the new and doing yoga. I finally got sore from our other day from Sunday. We were doing the chaturanga or whatever, and push-ups, sit-ups, and stuff. Abs, glutes, low back, shoulders, and triceps, and we did some of our quads. And so I am getting that. Oh, I see something, a shadow of a bird. I'm getting that whole so many receipts is getting out of control. I'm getting that whole plan. I have found so many things. Oh shoot. Oh shoot, we got some crap going on. I knew I used to work Mondays, and my boss wasn't there, and the workers at the pizza place would slack on all the jobs, and then I would come in. Was that when I was still a cook? I think that I was still a cook at some of that point, and I'd have to clean up after everybody else over the weekend, from physically cleaning to throwing out old crap. Anyways, and it was horrible because it's like the boss wouldn't be there either Saturday, Sunday, and then he started being there, not there Sunday, Monday. So then Tuesday, he's blowing up. So if I was when I was still working Monday as a shift lead, coming Tuesday as a cook, my boss wouldn't be there Sunday, Monday, whatever it was. I would be taking so many hours to try to clean up other people's weekend crap so that the boss could come in Tuesday or whatever day, whether it's Monday or Tuesday, and see the stuff is decent. For me, I was staying late, cleaning everything, and he's like, no, leave some of this for tomorrow. So it's like I acknowledge that some stuff needs to be cleaned out, thrown away. Like if it ends at the end of the day and you have 20 things that need to be thrown out, garbage taken out, dishes done from that mess, and maybe have to replace stuff if someone thought that there was enough for the next day but they didn't realize it was expired that night. Like sometimes you stretch it out and it's not necessarily rotten, but it's been touched. Then you get that note acknowledging that you ran out of time because you're not supposed to work past your time, and you're not supposed to let your full-time staff under you. Like for me, I'm part-time, but full-time staff under me will get overtime and they get mad. So that's what I've been doing. I try to take care of everything, and what sucks when you take care of everything, some stuff is natural. You're on the clock, you're doing stuff, you're you're sauce and cheesing stuff, and then all of a sudden it's the end of the day and you have to do end of the day routine. But it sucks to have to do the Sunday and the Monday and the Tuesday work because the weekend people don't do it. Um, and yeah, they can acknowledge to their next supervisor that they need to um, they can acknowledge to the next supervisor that they need the word I'm looking for. Help them check it because they were too busy, and they may or may not get to it. But sometimes you have a brief down period where you actually don't have to go use the bathroom, chug water, or shove food down your throat in 30 seconds. Or you could do that or delegate. Like that's what my mind thinks. That's what makes the job even harder is not getting enough support or having people slack or having people not be there for whatever reason, but not having the company provide a sub and you're stuck. Um, so I felt like with the same with okay, going back to my story, when my son was on the couch sleeping in the day and I wanted to clean and declutter and vacuum and do all this stuff and it was impossible because I mean you could start cleaning around him and stuff start falling, he's opening one eye. Um, you know, nap time, whatever he's doing. Unpredictable. So I was in the kitchen yesterday, like, oh, I have stuff to do, but I need to clean some of the stuff. And my daughter's going to do work, and there's like bags of crap everywhere. Like, dude, you need, like Mia, you need to like. Our old kitchen was pretty big. When the kids were little, they were smaller, and they couldn't reach the counter. They couldn't really do much anyway. But now they want to do stuff, and I'm like, I have to leave. Like, I'm trying to do dishes while I wait for my water so I can make my lemonade. But I'm gonna make my lemonade and leave. Like, I just felt like a punk. Now I feel like I'm ovulating. I have breast tenderness and I'm angry. And I'm like angry all the time. I'm really hyper, like I said, I'm a raw foodist. And these women are thinking that I have mental disorder. But these women have diagnosed mental conditions and tons of medication, or they are prescribed medication and they're not taking it, or they were giving the wrong medication for decades, and who knows. I actually am a doctor. I know what that crap does to your mind and to your body. Those side effects are not necessarily for some people, not everyone. They're kind of a lot. So, anyways, yesterday I was reading Quora about trying to find what other people's opinion of love was in their relationships, and I thought to myself, um, reading the women trying to steal married dudes, and because it popped up, it only popped up mostly that these young women said that they were in love with the older man. They're like, help, what do I do? Or, and I was like, that, an older married man. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for two people meet and they fall in love and they fall in like and then they feel feelings and what I'm a hopeful romantic. I want to just hear and ooh and ah and cry and like see the butterflies go from my stomach out into the real world, my mariposa. Um, I have butterflies in my freaking heart more than my freaking stomach right now. I feel exhausted. I feel sick. I feel like I could sleep all day. I was gonna go out and run errands and do stuff and go to the library and do work and maybe go to one meeting and then go to the gym and buy a pass and work out and then go to this other meeting and go to work all night and I'm like sick. I have this deadline. I feel like God's like, you need to plant yourself here and do what you gotta do. That's a bit crowded or the waterside people around you. They go on a mission. They have stuff to do. They do it, but they have fun doing it. I noticed that the people around me, from the guy to my kids, they have fun with their lives, and I actually am copying my kids by playing the games. And I've been reading books, but I was mad, and then women were like, "There's something." I said this yesterday. There's something about the prize of feeling valued by a married or a taken man, where they feel more valuable than if they were desired sexually, even if the man doesn't leave his spouse, by a single man. And I felt really bad. And men and women, men were saying it's not just men who cheat. And I don't know, I was getting into all this cheating stuff. And one woman's like, oh, when I was younger, what I like to do was be with married men. And God, she's like, I hope that doesn't happen to me, like karma, like that she will be with a man and that some younger chick will steal him away. And I was so mad and scared and felt like when I don't hear from my buddy, oh my God, what if he's spending time with a younger, cuter woman? And then there was these little blurbs of women saying, "Oh, I'll maybe these guys were in a sexist relationship, so they, they were high school buddies, and then they found each other, and they found out the guy's in a sexist relationship, and that they were just gonna have a sexual relationship with these guys until they figure out what they're gonna do with their other relationship." And some women did not. They didn't say, "Oh, I will never." They say like, "Oh, I wouldn't sleep with knowingly sleep with a married man." But if he's only got a girlfriend or he lives with a significant other, then I don't care. And I feel that a lot of times, in my opinion, I feel like more people are significant others than of all ages, older people, younger people, people that have been married multiple times. I feel like there's a lot of significant others that are very close and tight. And why should these women go in and break up a relationship, whether there's kids involved or not, and break up? They wouldn't want somebody to do that to them. And if they're these seductress and these beauty queens and they can wrap a man around their little pinky and they think, oh well, if I, if they will never be alone because they know how to get a man. And what I found, and I'm not a dating expert, what I found, I feel like, is I just washed my hair yesterday. My hair was like wet until I got home yesterday. And I didn't really it's not really wet now, but it feels like dry, like kind of wiry. I feel like there's enough. This happened with my ex-husband when we first were dating, and starts to be like, well, I was single for so long, then I started hanging out with you, and no women wanted me before, and then you gave me a chance, and all of a sudden all these women are coming after me. And I feel like that's very common. I think. And then these guys were trying to say, yeah, women would cheat you, and maybe the guy's not good in bed, even if he's having sex with her. Maybe she's not unattractive. Maybe she's not denying him sex, and maybe just sucks. She wants to be satisfied or whatever. They're like, oh, these people of opinion were like, oh, it was easier to make a man stray from a relationship and cheat than it was for a woman. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, these are all citizen opinions. These are all, I say citizen, but people. Doesn't matter they're experts or not. These are all opinions. And so I get like fearful reading this crap when I'm trying to see if, and I told you the vision yesterday, which I didn't post, about being at this Asian pier, being with a lover and falling in love and having a foundation together, and the world, the mountain and the waters in front of you, the mountain and the skyscapes in front of you, and the world is going on behind you, beside you, people, dogs, whatever, and you're staring in each other's eyes in bliss in your own. I don't know, chakra. I don't know if that's the right word. It's like you're in your own bubble. This game has. Hearthstone has. What is it? I was thinking, I love the stealth one. I used to we used to print his labels wrong. If you print it before 7, they will say they expire the next day. If you print them after 7, they say expired the day after that. But that is correct. When you make the dough, it is supposed to be at 7 or whatever, 6 or 7. But you could start oiling the pans and printing the slips before 7, and then it will show the wrong date. even if the food is still fresh. Or like, what if you started at 6:59? Still fresh. Like it's not like rotting dough. Still frozen for Pete's sakes when you leave. Anyways, that's a different story. That scares me. But yeah, I felt like it wasn't stealth. It was something else. I can't remember what it was. I was gonna go to the library at 10:30. I was gonna be in the shower. My water is probably boiled over by now. I forgot about it. It wasn't stealth. Anyways, it's like, oh, it's the divine shield. So it's like this couple. It's like, say, I'm gonna speak positive. It's like me and a lover are together at this pier, looking out at the water. You hear the water. You laugh at the ducks playing, and you have a divine shield. You're protected in your higher powers, protecting you in the universe, protecting you as a couple, as two beings merging souls. And God, I'm gonna cry. And then you have stealth. I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna add that to my vision because the video game, I love it because it has the little. If you look in Hearthstone, maybe look online. The stealth is like you have the character, and it has like a mirror that's like, it's like a mirror, but it's like a grayish, and I could almost smell the smoke that's in the thing. Like it's almost like a smoke screen comes on, and then you see the character beneath this gray shadow, man. And it like really, every time it's almost like I can, like, it's almost like a divine thing. I don't know how to even describe. It's like a divine thing. I can't even say what I'm trying to say here. Um, I just remember when I said let's think positive and talk about things. I'm trying to find another lighter. Let's think positive. You know what I'm gonna do? We're gonna go for a little dog trumpet. I was trying to think positive about the friendship, relationships, soul searching, soulmate, soul, divine connection. That smoke. Oh, you can't see it really. It's like I when I see that on Hearthstone, it's like there's a smoke screen that goes in front of my face with this beautiful mirror that is like a portal to another world. You can see the being or the spirit beneath the surface of the mirror, which is reflecting, but it's dull. It's not shiny like my mirror. Um, so it's like like that force of the divine shield and the stealth is making it so that the lovers, I use this as a lover sign right now, they're intertwined, that these lovers can gaze in each other's eyes and hold each other with tender comfort and just flick the suffering away, flick the suffering. You know, I saw on this Vampire Assisted movie they used the sword or dagger or something. And the guy freaking wipes the blood off on the guy's shoulder on his clothes. And I remember I did it with my left hand. I was like, wait, no, left-handed swordsman. When I was in Aikido, we did sword training. We couldn't do weapons training until we were in club because the school wouldn't let us do it as a class because of liability issues. We had to sign different waivers for that other one, and we only were allowed to use the wooden swords, and we would. There's my daughter's hair in here. We would. I forget. We would do that. The fighting and the holding the sword and the. I don't remember. We used bows. We used swords. And I remember there was action where you're just like, whoosh, and it's like, whoosh, 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 or whoosh. It's like that action because he would say, imagine an ancient Japanese temples and wonder why we're at our knees because there was a short emperor and he wanted to be taller, so we're knee walking. Were there any left-handed swordsmen? No, we had to hold our sword. We sit down on your knees, your sword is on your left side because you take your right hand and you face it towards you or against you, depending on if it's an enemy or a friend. I think if you're doing class, they're all your friends. You have this. I believe you have the blade facing you. Same thing with your taekwondo. I believe it's left over right. Is it left over right? Your gi? I forget now. Because I think whatever the other way is the sign of like you're gonna fight to the death or something. Like it's a sign of I don't know. I was thinking suicide bomber. Like basically you're kamikazing yourself out, and just the flicking of the sword to get the blood off, so that you don't want sticky blood on your next sword. You need to make a clean slice of your opponent. So it ends up like I gotta get my water off. I think it's been on there for 26 minutes. It ends up being like I gotta put this back in my backpack. Oh, my phone froze. My client is trying to get a hold of me, and I gotta do some things. I'm gonna oh wait, is that working now? But it's like these lovers, like I hope it's me and this person that I keep mentioning would be intertwining on this beautiful pier, bay, or whatever body of water, and just the world is going on around you, but it's you and this person. And I brought up the women and the backstabbing and the cheating, and I guess I brought up swords and blood. And the women locally would be like, "Oh, I hate men," or "Oh, I'm still married," or "I've been married 6 times." Like, why the hey did you get married 6 times? Like, did you the first 5 times, or like some people got married 6, 7, 8 times? The first 5 times you got married, did you think, what is going on? What is the reason for this divorce? Like, is there ir what is it, irreconcilable or whatever? What differences? What was it that they were gambling or drug addicts and using up all the money and you were facing eviction, or were they abusive, or was it just that they wouldn't do dishes on Saturdays like you asked them, or that they wouldn't do a certain thing in the bedroom, but maybe that grossed them out, maybe they could do something else. um like, did they not talk to the kids? Did they talk down to you because they drink once in a while with their buddies and come home and talk down to you like their dad talked to their mom? Can you go to counseling for that? Or are they keeping you in the house when, like my ex-husband, taking your car, not having clothes, not having money, not having shoes for your kids? You can't go anywhere unless you carry your kids the whole way, and they're cheating on you with other women and hookers and strippers and prostitutes and people that shoot up drugs. Um, then maybe, yeah, maybe you should leave. But is it something like my situation where you had to leave that day because you were one abuse, away from one abusive interaction away from death or potential death? Um, it's like one too many, one times too many, and so it's none of my business. But these people are saying they hate men, and they were not sober, they were on drugs and alcohol during all these marriages. They say they hate men. It's like, well, what type of person were you back then, and what type of person did you attract? And I said, I put my freaking first, I prayed to my higher power. I wrote out a list of things, of qualities. They were just basic qualities. I like men, and it would be nice if they had a job, and if they had a car, if they actually drove a vehicle, that they actually had a license. If they, like, I'm not gonna, people are online, a lot of them, like, you must own a house, own a car, it has to be only 18 months old, and you have to have a job making at least 65,000 a year. Like that's the bare minimum. I prefer 120. Like these guys are like going, and you have to be 5'6" minimum, and no more than 110 pounds. You have to wear 3-inch heels or higher every day. You know, even if you're sick, even if you're gardening, blah 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 blah. And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like you. Like I might like your profile. I don't fit your criteria. So it's like I dealt with putting myself online as a um oh, it's hot, and praying. And I think the hardest thing is when you put yourself online is what you write or don't write, and um putting your what's the word I'm looking for here, um putting your God, I can't even think of the word. Putting yourself out there. Sorry, it's like a universe. It's like a law of attraction. Like universe senses that you have made a commitment to yourself, that into the universe, into the world, that you're ready to date by doing this action. Open up a bank account. You have no money or you're in debt. You open up a bank account and put $5 in there, and that brings an energy of positivity to your finances. Donating money, your last money, like the lady in the Bible who gave her last, or she gave all that she had, tithing, and the Pharisees put in big coins. That she only had so much, the first of her money, and she gave it all to the temple. The Pharisees used their money; they were rich, and they gave the last of their money, not the first 30% or whatever it is. I would say 20% plus the 10% offering to the temple with this loud, noisy coins making a big show. So I feel like, personally, I feel like, how do I want to say this? Oh, I was gonna not burn the knob chomper for long. This stuff, it burns like crazy. I've had this. Oh, look at this. I've had this relight itself, so it makes me a little nervous. Um, and I told these women are like, I hate men. Oh, you're dating someone who sounds like a jerk, and then you say, oh my god, I think he's adorable. This, and this, and they're like, you really need to break it off. You should not be with this person. Like, dude, I've been alone for a decade and a half. Like, I prayed for this. Oh, this is not something your higher power is gonna bring you. Like, as a Christian, and as a real Christian, not a hypocritical, like not a non-loving, judgmental person, you hear some people, even if they were those old-fashioned small town. I did geriatrics volunteer work, and I heard a lot of love stories, and I loved them. They were basically white people that lived in the country, and they met their husbands. And I didn't always hear the meeting story. And they lived in a house to raise the kids, or they had this, or they had a farm, and or maybe they were a veteran of World War II or Vietnam, or maybe somebody had two wives die, and then they met. Someone had been doing karaoke, and they had met somebody, and they started going to church together. And I love these love stories. So when people hear that I feel this love towards somebody, they're hating me. I love hearing. That's why I searched that. I love hearing people's love stories. I love being inspired, and I love to see somebody who has somewhat of a healthy relationship, because I didn't get raised around them, and my family, just seeing neighbors and stuff. And so I know my water's boiled. Oh God, I'm supposed to be drinking hot tea too. I feel like these stories were beautiful, and at their age, some of them, their spouse died and they were alone. Some of them, they were living in a trailer in their daughter's garage or in their daughter's driveway, and their daughter was a narcissistic jerk, or they were super crazy. Some of them, both the couples were old, and one was in one hospital floor and one was in the other. And I've wheeled patients to see their spouse. They're both in the hospital. They grieve, you know. And I saw one couple. I was chatting with the guy. I think it was the guy, and I went. It was either a guy or girl, gray hair, white people. And I took the one spouse on a wheelchair to see the other spouse, and I was like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." And I was like, "Wait," like I think I had seen one or both of them before. Maybe someone else was gonna. I don't know what happened. Whatever. I see multiple people. Sometimes people readmit to hospital. Blah 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 blah. And I was gonna be like, sit there and talk and ask if they needed anything to drink or eat, or I didn't know how long he was supposed to be there. And next thing I know, this I wheel them. The chair is next to the hospital bed, and they just lock eyes, and I think they held hands, and in that they were in that world. I don't know if these people are alive. God bless them and their families. If one or both of them are alive, please bless their hearts. So you get that age and you're sick, you don't know what your spouse is, you don't know whether they're gonna die. The first or second time I was gonna meet this guy, I knew what kind of vehicle he had, and I was like, all these other guys kind of treated me like garbage my whole life, even the ones I had barely met on online dating in Portland metro area. And I saw this. I left like 5-10 minutes late, and I went to where we were supposed to meet. I think it was like the second day, or I don't know what day it was, and I ended up saying first, "Oh my God, sometimes you leave 5 minutes late. If you left on time, you're mad at yourself because you're late. If you left on time, you might have been the one in that accident." Unfortunately for the other person, they were the one in the accident. But it was the same color and type of vehicle as this guy had. And I said, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." I was freaking out. I didn't want to text and drive. The road was blocked off it was a bad accident. It, we had, I had to stop and get directed by the police. And, I'm sorry, I forgot the fitness tip. And I felt so brokenhearted because I didn't even know this fella. And I was like so concerned for him. Like, oh my God, I hope that's not him. Like, what if we were trying to meet and we were both rushing and somebody gets in an accident? And I was so scared. Like, what if, like, I didn't even know this guy and I already liked him. And, like, it doesn't matter if you know someone for 24 hours or not. I don't know what it was. I must have actually had love at first sight or something, but I was freaking out. And, like, I never told him this. I was, like, so happy to see him at the place. And just, you know, that was a few months ago. And now I felt that way. I never said anything like that. I was worried about him or anything because I'm like embarrassed of how I fell in love so fast. My throat hurts, guys. I feel so sick today. I don't want to do anything. And so sometimes this person is like not knowing if I'm the right person, or saying I'm taking it fast, or not taking it all this seriously, or sometimes not understanding where I'm coming from for certain things that make me feel part of a friendship or a relationship. And I feel like this guy could be toying with me and using me for entertainment and not. But at the same time, we're both in this together for the first time. It's like when you had a baby, then had a second baby. So yeah, the second baby, you kind of know what to expect a little bit, a lot of pain. But God, I really gotta turn my water off. The second baby, the first and second baby are two different people. So you're raising kids for the first time. If I were to go through life and have another two sets of kids, I could kind of think about what childbirth would be like, what diapers would be like, what feeding times would be like. But I would be at a completely different stage. I'd be at a different age. I would be at a different income, and like I'd be in recovery, like type of thing. I would be hopefully with the right person, because instead of these women that said they hated men, where were you? You were a selfish addict before, and you still are super selfish and super bitter and super jealous. And it's like, why tell me to not enjoy my life, or not enjoy my business, or not enjoy
my friends or my hobbies and my diet try to tell me that I have mental issues because I do 100% raw. Well, I felt the best that I ever felt in my life, and I feel that all the times I was training myself to do raw in all the different situations, the stuff is expensive, and I kept saying, God, I need a miracle if you want me to do these diets or the Daniel's fast or the whole foods or the additive free foods, the more expensive stuff. It's not as bad now. Everything's expensive now. Maybe before cheap crap would be expensive or cheap, and then the other stuff would be more expensive. It's always cheaper than food now. Now it's like the name brand companies made their stuff really decent, and then the other companies lower the value of their food by putting crap and fillers in it. But then they're gonna charge $9 for four little sausages or some crap. But it ends up like that you that you that you um tell these fools you're sitting at home getting a retirement check. You didn't even open a retirement account on your Social Security, complaining about not having money. You live in a apartment. You have TV, cable, internet, cell phones, all this stuff. Nice car, luxury car or SUV, and you're complaining about not having enough money. Or you're complaining at me for working all these jobs to pay my rent, but your Social Security pays your rent. I don't have Social Security. I don't have a fixed income. I don't have spousal support. I don't have any of that, and I have to work or I'm gonna be homeless. I'm not gonna live with you because you're crazy. I would rather sleep in my car. Unfortunately, like you're driving me crazy and it's affecting my health. And all they have to do if they don't have enough money, they have more than enough money. Their refrigerators are full of food. Their gas tanks are full. They're wearing nice clothes and jewelry. They need. They say they should get a job. Just get a job. It doesn't have to be a luxurious job. I went to medical school, then I got a job $15 an hour when minimum wage was like nine something, and then my income has gone down since that year. It's continuously gone down as I got older, and I'm still a doctor, and it's still gone down into a negative income every year, and it sucks. And like I applied for a job at Carl Jr. I applied for a job at Sherry's as a waitress. Applied for jobs as pizza managers and all this different things that I didn't go to school for, and it's basically fast food. Um, I didn't apply at a grocery store, but one of the stores is already driving me crazy because these people have huge power trips. And then they're saying, "Oh, I hate men. I'm never gonna date anyone. You shouldn't date anyone." Then they're like, "I want somebody. What's your guy look like? What is he?" Like, oh, maybe I could date your guy. Oh, heck no, sucker of souls, home wrecker. And you're just like, don't hang out with me. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. Don't find out where I go to meet my buddy. You're there's like put your freaking web or put your freaking picture up on freaking OkCupid and Match.com. If you have more money than me, freaking pay for a subscription. Get on Plenty of Fish for Pete's sakes. Who cares? Especially at your age, people you're not gonna be hearing rumors about people sleeping around and doing internet culture. At your age, they could be players. 70-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70. These women are over 70. It's like you've been married 5, 6 times. You're light eyes, light hair, and you've gone through life being Barbie with everybody bowing to you. Now you've reached elderly and you still are being bowed to. You don't know what it's like to be a black single mom living in severe poverty, coming from an abusive relationship, putting my tail between my legs because I'm ashamed of myself, low self esteem. And the thing about, and so some of the hymnals were, and the slave hymnals were signs that they're going to escape that night. You know, they were hidden meaning. You had to just like, you had to keep on praying to God under circumstances where you're oppressed and enslaved, and there's a disparity, and you're treated worse than an animal, just enough as an animal because you are like livestock. When your family comes from this only a few generations ago was slavery. It's the 1890s. My uncle Homer was born. He was not a blood relative. Aunt Eva's husband was born in 1800 something.
if you're gonna freaking come from that type of slavery, and I know the Jews will have their own thing, other white people will say, "Wow, we grew up modest. We had only 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom house in the suburbs of Minneapolis. And my parents both had jobs. They both had to work. They both had cars. You see their pictures, and there's everyone's smiling. Everyone's got their diamond rings and their gold necklaces. Like, you were not in poverty. You were not living in a shack. If they had duct tape back then, that was duct taped together, like this place is. Like, you had a middle class life. Your parents chose not to go to college, and they had a good enough job to be giving their wives gold and diamonds, and put their kids in a decent school. Those suburban schools, and maybe even private school, and you do gymnastics and all that. Like, you don't, like, they're trying to say that was poverty and that was oppression, and that they weren't. No, maybe you didn't live in a $2 million house in Beverly Hills with a parent that's an actress or a football player. Maybe like that, but you certainly have. You could have imagined. Yes, white people live in the middle of West Virginia in trailers and grow their own food and have chickens and deal with alcoholism and poverty. But any of those people finish high school, go to community college, and try to do something. Not that the college is going to get you a better job, but again, that law of attraction, it takes you to be around other like-minded people, and if you don't want to stay stuck, oppressed. Sometimes you can, especially white people, can pull themselves out of poverty oppression, but blacks, we cannot pull ourselves out of color oppression, no matter how high of a level. It's the only level. I always told myself the only higher levels that I don't have, or a law degree to make me a judge, and an astronaut. You know, those two things, the legal, and it's like having a medical license as a primary care physician puts me up really, really, really high on education. And so you have socioeconomic, they're going to put me low as socioeconomic because they're going to say she's a poor black woman. It's like, you ain't done seeing, I'm pretty poor, but you ain't done seeing my bank account. I'm pretty poor because I'm in poverty. I'm in poverty and I'm in debt. I don't care if I didn't go to school and I worked at McDonald's at minimum wage. I would be, shoot, I missed a phone call. Oh crap. That was an hour ago. Okay. I'm gonna call my client. I'm gonna pause this and get my water. Hey, this is Mia. I want to say something about my water was boiling. I was like, please I was like, God, please stop this glass to not break. I'm trying to find everything has changed because I downloaded another app. I'm gonna go ahead and weigh in and meditate before I call this client because I'm a mess right now. I'm not gonna worry. The Tinder app is gonna hide my profile. I'm not gonna worry about it. I got tested last week. I didn't do much with plans or anything or with this guy. I was getting not a lot, I was getting more activity messages and stuff I did not check from these websites. I did not go on them and check them. I did not go on them. I did not try to respond. The Tinder app is not working on my phone. I was trying to keep it active because I'm like, you get scared with someone, even if someone wanted to commit, you get scared if someone's gonna say, I wanna not commit to you, and you're like, why should I shut down? But if I do unto others as I would have them do unto me, then it would be time to let it go and to realize if my account got hidden or shut off, that there's another way to. I'm still trying to find this freaking app. I'm trying to find the Samsung Health. Is it under S Health? There's another way to there's another way to it's gone. I just gotta focus for a second. There's another way that was scam likely. I won't answer. Okay, there it is. It just moved. It was called Samsung Health. there's another way to get back on that crap. And if so, this sponsor, I hated when sponsors try to make themselves feel like I don't know what my higher power is doing. So I was gonna say my Instagram is MIA, so Mia.orange630. So basically, it's what my channel is. I think that's Mia.orange630 @gmail.com. I wanted it to be a model all my life. I heard about Instagram models and I don't know what they are because I wasn't using Instagram until this weekend. And so I I remember, oh my god, I have like no steps. There's no way. I was in that friend Maya walking around like a crazy person. Um I there's I felt there's this lady, I forget her name. There's this white lady. She had kind of one of those like cheerleader smiles, like where I don't know, one of her teeth was like bigger than the other. I don't know, like a cheerleader smile. She had long curly hair. Nicole from Spokane, from one of the Champion Center in Spokane. She was super beautiful, and she had 3 kids, I think, and the pastors of our church. That's how they knew each other from. Oh, it was Tacoma, and they had also 3 kids, and we had a Women's Day with her being one of the speakers coming from Washington State, our other pastor, and me. I think that was when I was newly single, and I'm gonna put up for credits because I had to have a lot more. I was newly single, and I was like, um, not having a babysitter, and the men, big tall men, the other was like more thin, tall, were gonna babysit the kids at the pastor's house who lived in the suburbs, and it was crazy. It was like, I was gonna put 2 hours. I sat on my butt after work yesterday, and they had 6 kids plus my kids, so 8 kids, and I was so feeling so blessed that my kids had somebody to be at their house. I felt that they were safe. I don't know, who knows? My daughter didn't come home saying that they weren't safe. And having them be able to spend, it was like 2 nights. Was it 2 nights? Or one night? I don't know. Women's retreats. They weren't terribly long. They might have only been one night. I don't know. But having, I feel like it would be Friday. I feel like it was only one night maybe because you feel like everyone's going to be back at church on Sunday. So maybe you sleep Friday night and leave Saturday night. And I love those retreats. And I felt like my kids got to spend time in the birds, the trampoline and the play structure in the garden and the groomed yard and the barbecue grill and all that. And um, so it's like that with me. It's like there was these opportunities, and the woman was so beautiful, and I wondered. She might have been fairly young. I wondered. I'm talking about something that happened in like 2004. That was a long time ago, 15 years ago. I wondered if people on fire for God. I'm not talking about fake Christians. I'm talking people that had a spirit of Christianity and they wanted to really love people and not be hypocritical and not be judgmental. It wasn't basically their outward appearance at their church, whether they were Sunday school teacher or woman pastor or whatever, but their relationship with their higher power. So it didn't matter about all that stuff. It doesn't even matter to me now if they're Christian, if they're Buddhist, if they're atheist, if they're, Muslim. It's not about the title or what place of worship you go to or don't go to. It's about what your spiritual path has taken you on. That light in their eyes. Um,
that light in their eyes, that smile. Someone told me, your smile is, you used to smile, you have a nice smile. When you talked about leaving your abusive relatives, your smile became, um, your smile became real. You could see it even when I wasn't smiling in my eyes. And that's what this guy from the meeting told me, that he could see my smile was real. And he was the first person, no, this other lady, name starts with M, told me, oh my God, you're so beautiful. I can't believe the change I've seen in you in this past year or two since I met you. Like, she could see the difference. I left an abusive job before that, and I my weight went down to normal for the first time instead of overweight or obese. My hair started growing in, even with all the stress and all this stuff, and I was broke, didn't have money for food. I could go to the food bank when my daughter was working, and so she was just afraid that I was going to have too much income, um, the poverty level. We were volunteering at the food bank. We went to the food bank, we were volunteering at the food bank. She did not want to go through line, she was embarrassed, and then her friend from kindergarten was there one day, rich girl. She was a little bit embarrassed as a high school age student. So I was like, I don't even know how we bought food. I think we weren't on food stamps, and then they put them on the maximum, and then we wasted a lot of freaking food. I'm gonna go. I just weighed in. I should be at 150. No, 150. 136. So I had gone up to like 138 something. And I have some salad I need to eat because it's got vinegar and oil and it's going to get slimy. I'm going to take a bowl. I have a bowl with that falafel. I put way too much soy. I don't know what. I must have dumped it. I have about 5 hours to grab my crap and start heading to the car. 11:30 to 12:30, 12:30, 1:30, 1:32, 32, 33, 32, 34, 5:30. I have 6 hours, so I gotta hustle because I am not known to do the work that needs to be done. And I left a long message to this lady, and she did not call me back. AIG, what is this in retirement? I like this lady's hair, man. Sometimes I'm like, do they know that I'm black or that my family has mixed? They send these pictures. I really like her hair. Could you imagine if I had full, healthy head of hair like that? Like, actually have it long, full, and healthy? I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. I should imagine. So, God, as I make this very long video, I pray that you guide the light of heaven into this body. My ultimate thing is, when I had a vision of a lover in the past, when I was still going to church, it it came to me. It was prophesied. When all the women were like, oh, God told me I'm never going to get married, oh, this and that, I'd have crushes, no one will like me, no one will be my friend, I'm not friends with women, so, like, you can't even get invited to, like, a dinner or a garden party to meet people. It's just like you're in the world alone, and then you become bitter, and you run in the store like I was this morning, you're kind of like, or you're just like cranky. It's not the cashier's fault. I usually try to be overly friendly, but at the end, I usually just like smile. I'm just like going through the motions without any passion, because I'm saving the passion for other things. And I felt this. I felt this years ago. It had to have been more than 10 years. It had to have been way more than 10 years ago. It was almost 10 years since I graduated from med school for these things. Getting up there. Well, it's been like 6, 2014 to 19. I was going back to school the next year or whatever, 2015. I don't know, whatever. That was only like 4 or 5 years ago. But anyways, the vision was that I would be with this man, this husband or this significant other, this partner, this boyfriend, and that I was on fire. I'm on fire to do the work of God, and all of the bull crap people that call themselves Christian, people that say they're atheists and they're more loving than anyone I've ever met, Satanists were talking about do not harm women, whatever you do. Witches were being witchcrafty. I felt like if they were using witchcraft to gain financial gain, they feel like they were backpedaling. I felt like their stuff was falling apart. I don't know. Everyone's different. And it was like the Proverbs 31 woman where she is in with her husband and she is me and my significant other are hand in hand. Mike Bell had done a sermon where he had everyone link arms, like we're all spiritually, we can do more. And I always say mathematically, what is it when you have exponentially more together, marching as an army, linked arms, and you had all the pews, all the rows. Imagine the enemy trying to barrel through all these linked arms. It's harder to get through. Then you're just standing there, and the enemy just knocks you down and keeps going and destroys your village. And I felt that when I'm with my significant other, the universe and God can use us as a couple for the betterment of community in a heavenly way, a peaceful way, in a loving way. God, I'm gonna cry. Oh my God, it's so intense. And it's like more than we could by ourselves. And both of us, in our hearts, know in our souls, in our guts, that we want to help people. Even if we're selfish because we are human, and you have to have some sort of selfishness, you want to eat well, you want to earn enough money, you want to live in a nice house, have clean air, and have nice clothes because you're a professional. You're going out in the world, you're representing who you are, but that also attracts people that are suffering or hurting. Before I heard all the Buddhist principles of suffering, I always thought hurting people hurt people, hurting people hurt people. And in the meetings, praying for the still suffering addict. And it's like exponentially more for the universe as a couple. And you're going to play and you're going to frolic and you're going to bat eyelashes at each other and you're going to go and you're going to be a human and you're going to take a shower and you're going to use the toilet and you're going to wash dishes, you're going to eat, you're going to burp and you're going to fart and you're going to have to replace your socks, at least I will because they get holes in them, and have to go clean your car once in a while, but you're going to have your relationship again, iron sharpens iron. You're spiritually fit as an individual and spiritually fit as a couple, do spiritual things, and having this iron sharpens iron to make each other stronger with that divine shield and that freaking stealth mode. And the stealth in the game in the Hearthstone will oftentimes it's either stealth for a long time or stealth for another time. It oftentimes gives healing to those around when they're able to kind of be introverted as a couple and be protected and have a channel to the heavens and that enlightenment. It's almost like when I say the word enlightenment, I almost feel lighter. I feel the vision of sitting on a magic carpet and the carpet rises and you're enlightened and you're looking down at the world saying I had a feeling like Neo looking into the computer. Oh my gosh, you knew, Neo, that something wasn't right. You were searching. You were always searching. And Morpheus was searching for the one, and you were searching for the truth. And so it's like you're on this magic carpet as a human looking down at the earth saying, I knew that my instinct was right, and I was in earth, sucked into the machine, into the matrix, knowing deep down in my gut that God was telling me that you're doing the right thing, that your thoughts are pure and true, and that you're loving and you're knowledgeable But other people around you with their chattering and their hatred of men and their jealousy and these women that are mad because you're 40 something and they're 70 something. It's like you were 40 something. I'm a little jealous of you because you're a boomer and you have a social security check coming in and you can just play all day, go to art classes, go to meetings, go travel around the world whenever you want. I'm not necessarily jealous of them. I am inspired by them, but a twinge of envy comes in when I feel sick and I want to be able to sit down and flip through the TV show and say, oh, it's almost time for a meeting. Let's get going and put on your pearls and just say, well, I'm not going anywhere fancy right now. I might as well dress up. But it's like that iron sharpens iron, that God put that vision in my mind over 10 years ago. I told one of the ladies I thought was my friend, she just uses me. She's codependent. It's really challenging. I'm having a hard time breaking free from her right now, spiritually. And she laughed when I said that vision. And the other lady that's irritating me right now also kind of told me that God didn't tell me to do online dating in 2015. Oh, heck no, he did. And I did not obey for 3 years. My problem is, you tell me a suggestion in the program to keep me sober. Those suggestions also include listening to your higher power, being obedient, or doing God's will, not your own. I did my own will by not getting online in 2015. Like, I could have met the person that I know now, and we could have had a better life. Like, we could have had an opportunity to buy an apartment complex or something. Like, who knows? I could have met the person that I knew now in 2015, 4 years ago, and me and him could have. We've been spared, but a lot of stuff happened in those 4 years that could have killed us, or that could have taken us out and doing some downward spiraling with our lives. So somehow the universe, God, our inner strength brought us to that first encounter, the second encounter, third encounter, 20th encounter. And I just want to say that when I was on looking at, I'm a Libra whose Venus is in Scorpio as far as I know, and I read just a page missing, 749. Shoot, I'm gonna have to get a different Bible. I'm missing the other half of Proverbs. Anyways, it was talking about this fire, this meeting, this excitement, this energy, and this intimate energy, and then someone letting someone out in the cold to go pursue something else, and I was really mad. I felt like, God, I'm a Christian, and I believe that this lady is doing tarot cards for like an hour. I watched it over an hour, and I thought she had done the cards, but she was doing the reading. I felt like, oh, I feel like this. I feel like this. And then when she got to the end, I felt like this is not what I want. This is, and I said, God, I am a Christian. I believe in you. I believe that fate is what you make it. And I got fearful that my life would fall apart because I watched some YouTube videos. Someone do a general reading for a billion people, you know. And what happened was I ended up, um, praying, and I said I'm going to state this briefly on the video today, but to tell you the truth, I want to believe, whether this is true or not, I want to believe that this video reflected a little bit of a horoscope I read about two people being on fire early on, and if they don't pace themselves, that the fire would burn out. Similar horoscope pattern, similar horoscope connection, and it's also a divine connection. And I always said, well, whatever happens, we'll learn from that. This was reiterating what I read a couple months ago, and that pacing yourself and slowing it down, and then what I read
this weekend about remembering to maintain, because of your sign differences, maintaining your individuality as humans and what you're doing. Even as a Libra who's talkative, like having not secrets like, oh, I'm going to do something naughty, like, oh, I have, a kids book. I have, like, say for instance, I have my son. Someone went to Sweden and gave my son a bunch of books and magazines. There's a little kid book that's in Swedish. And let's say when I'm in a bad mood, I keep that in my sock jar. It's my secret. And when I'm in a bad mood, like right now, and I'm crying, I'm heaving and huffing and puffing, blow your house down. And I go to that book and I read it in Svenska and I laugh and I read it out loud to the bear. This is my new Kung Fu Panda. It's my my Eastern philosophical. It's going to be symbolized by Eastern philosophical. Not God. I told God, not God, because someone said called Jesus the Western, or the Western God of Jesus is also from the East, but his followers end up a lot in the West. That's the thing. He's in the Middle East. He's both. He's right in the middle of Eastern and Western. He is actually right smack dab in the very middle, in the Middle East, Jerusalem, and the other place he was born, Bethlehem. I don't know where the rest of my Bible is. She's always busy. The Protestant one, always busy, and looks after her family's needs. Her children show their appreciation. Her husband praises her. He says many women are good wives, but you are the best of them all. Okay, this is the verse that came to mind when I thought about the man and the woman together, the God vision over 10 years ago. Her husband is well known and one of the leading citizens. I sensed us in this linked arms, she keeping busy, planting a vineyard. I'm going to eat them grapes raw, by the way, and make grape juice out of it. And spinning her thread, making belts, shopping at faraway places, making sure her family's taken care of. Getting up before daylight to prepare food for her family and to tell the servant girls what to do. She looks at land and buys it. With money she earns, she plants a vineyard. She's a hard worker, strong and industrious. I'd read this every month, and I'd get up, and I didn't have servants. And people would talk about slavery is not sin, like these white people. I'm like, you need to shut up. Like, I'm a servant because I work for people and I'm in debt. I will admit to being a servant, but I ain't a slave, and I don't think slavery is okay. But you can get a job as a servant where you're like a butler. You can make good money and have days off and be able to have your family with you. This is really good. It's ginger or something, lemon ginger. The peppermint one, oh, it's tulsi, so holy basil, ginger. I'm gonna have to drink this all night, all day and all night. I like. What am I trying to say? I. Anyways, that. Oh, I would go and turn the dishwasher on, turn the dryer or the washer dryer on, open up the windows, let the sun, like, so didn't necessarily have servant girls, but I have machines. I'm waiting for a C3PO. I have one on my keychain. Vegas, this place. I have an R2D2 now, Valentine's card that I got for the kids. Oh, that ginger, man, got me real good. Thank God it was chased by a bit of honey that leaked down there. It was crazy. I had to refill that. Was good. That was really good. The honey was not mixed. I'm gonna call my client and ask when she needs me to come down there and get her insurance, and I gotta do some billing and blah 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 blah. Bye.